I wouldn't go as far as calling it a conflict of interest, but when you are best friends with one of Meghan Markle's best friends and you're pushing a pro Meghan agenda while disguising yourself as a journalist, isn't it a bit unethical to not disclose the fact that you have a personal relationship with the subject? And this isn't your first rodeo. And by rodeo, I mean orchestrated article to support Meghan Markle. Boy, oh boy, did the Hollywood Reporter's piece chap Meghan's. Last week, we reported that the Hollywood Reporter was defending itself against accusations that they were lying in a piece titled Why Hollywood Keeps Quitting Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The Hollywood Reporter's editor-in-chief, Mayor Rashan, spoke to Access Hollywood and revealed additional details about what went into their piece, including the fact that they spoke to a dozen sources, with one of their sources still working for Prince Harry and Meghan. Los Angeles sources confirmed some of the issues employees faced at Kensington Palace, saying everyone's terrified of Meghan. She belittles people. She doesn't take advice. They're both poor decision makers. They change their minds frequently, with one source arguing that Harry is a very, very charming person, no airs at all, but he's very much an enabler, and she's just terrible. The industry go-to warns, would you work for Harry and Meghan? Ex-employees say run away. The Hollywood Reporter also said Meghan is absolutely relentless and that she marches around like a dictator in high heels, fuming and barking orders. I've watched her reduce grown men to tears. Shortly after the article was published, Harry and Meghan responded with several rebuttals. Sussex sources told The Express there were fears amongst Harry and Meghan that there could be a disgruntled former member of staff who was putting out mistruths which were designed to make the Sussexes look bad. A source close to the couple told the newspaper the Sussex team have had more than enough of these types of articles. It's simply not true. One person that alleges to work with Archwell told GB News that the story was ridiculous because Harry and Meghan work from home and not in their offices, as if a Hollywood Reporter source does not potentially work for WME, Netflix, or whatever third-party contractor is building out a condiments website. It's just impossible. We can't hear stomping. She's barefoot in Montecito. The Sussex's biggest campaign to shut down the Hollywood Reporter comes in the form of Us Weekly magazine. Let's quickly recap, and then we'll tell you what we know about Meghan's latest magazine cover. It's no secret that Harry and Meghan want you to ignore Archwell's mass exodus, but the Hollywood Reporter's not about to. And that's why editor-in-chief Mayor Rashan defended their piece to Access Hollywood. He told the outlet, our reporter talked to, I think, a dozen people. Most of them are people who've worked very closely with the couple in various capacities now and previously. He said, our reporter talked to one very high up source who worked for the couple who said everyone is terrified of Meghan Markle. Mayer explained Duchess Difficult is a name that trailed Meghan Markle for quite a few years. What is new is this notion that coming to America, that a lot of those rumors were manufactured by the palace. And the reporting that we did suggests that that probably isn't true, that there is this steel undercurrent of fear. One of the most important quotes from the editor-in-chief was about Harry and Meghan's charitable pursuits, saying the couple does help a lot of people. Two things can be possible at once. So they can be horrible bosses, but also help people. Fast forward to this week, and Meghan Markle has found herself on a glossy new magazine cover. Is she giving us a glimpse of her fall fashion favorites? No. Recipes from Nigeria. A step-by-step explanation on how to can jam? No, ma'am. The Duchess and Co. continue to give these bully allegations life by encouraging former and current employees to talk to Us Weekly magazine. It's literally the Streisand effect, the, quote, phenomenon that occurs when an attempt to hide or remove information results in the information spreading further. The term is named after singer and actress Barbra Streisand, whose 2003 lawsuit against a photographer drew more attention to the photo she was trying to suppress. Now, Us Weekly magazine wants you to believe that they got a jackpot cover story with exclusive, unheard of access to current and former staff members that worked under Prince Harry, but most importantly, Meghan Markle, Duchess Difficult. In a video uploaded to Us Weekly's YouTube, their editor-in-chief, Dan Wakeford, said, "This week we chose to put Meghan Markle as one of our covers again. To be honest, I didn't expect to do another cover on Meghan quite so soon, as we've already covered her return to the spotlight just 2 months ago. However, Meghan was thrust into the center of the news once again because of negative headlines about how she conducts herself as a boss." He regurgitates some of the Hollywood Reporter material and tries to downplay it by saying their sources are only anonymous, but Us Weekly found people willing to talk on the record. Patting themselves on the back, he said, "It's rare for people who work for celebrities and notable figures in the public eye to talk on the record about their jobs behind the scenes. So when we got the opportunity to talk to current and former employees of the Duchess of Sussex and her husband, Prince Harry, I felt it was compelling enough to do a cover story." Just note how the Hollywood Reporter refers to her as Meghan Markle, and her friends at Us Weekly call her the Duchess of Sussex. I think that speaks volumes. He says, "We talked to 5 staff on the record and another 2 off the record, and they say the previous anonymous allegations made are wildly inaccurate and damaging." No, you know what, Sherlock? They reveal an unprecedented look into Meghan and Harry's work and also their private world behind the scenes. All 7 employees had a positive experience working for Meghan and Harry. Of course they did. The Sussexes handpicked them to talk to you. He says Josh Kettler, who left in August, says he was warmly welcomed and they're dedicated and hardworking. Well, I will certainly admit that they are dedicated and hardworking when it comes to arguing with headlines they don't like. One former employee tells Us Weekly that some of her favorite memories were during the weekly meetings in Montecito where Meghan served the most incredible lunches and snacks. Nice little subliminal plug for American Riviera Orchard's cooking show. Dan says the 7 current and former staff members describe a supportive and fun workplace that involves care packages, happy hours, karaoke nights, and credit being given for great ideas and everyday kindness. If you have to constantly shout from the rooftops about how nice you are, chances are you're probably not as nice as you think. Us Weekly's editor-in-chief says with a straight face, "This story was important to tell as it shows a counter-narrative to the negative descriptions that have been given anonymously. And these employees wanted to come forward to tell their truth." Oh, no, he didn't. Their truth? Oh, it reeks of Meghan Markle. And then they get a little thready, okay, saying, "We're here for a reason," says one of the current team members. "If you come for our bosses, we're coming for you." That sounds like a healthy, fun energy, guys. If you're thinking, am I experiencing deja vu? Meghan Markle's whatever break their silence in a weekly gossip magazine can confirm. This is a copy and paste job if I've ever seen one. The strategy just reeks of the People magazine exclusive where actress Abigail Spencer and producer Silver Tree defended Meghan Markle anonymously against claims her father, Thomas Markle, DNA, made against her. In fact, the article titles are almost identical. Meghan Markle's best friends break their silence. We want to speak the truth. The truth about Meghan. Her staff breaks their silence. That was lazy. During People magazine's 2019 exclusive, Meghan claimed they did it without her knowledge or permission. But we know what happens when you violate a dictator in heels' privacy. She burns that bridge. It is my personal opinion, said for legal reasons, that Meghan was not only aware of the People magazine story, but it was her not so subtle idea. Do you know who else was behind that People magazine exclusive? This guy. Remember him from 2 seconds ago? Dan Wakeford was the editor-in-chief for People magazine back in 2019. He left the magazine for a new media outlet that bombed faster than you can say live to lead. The Messenger was a media startup that blew through $50 million before abruptly firing all of its approximately 300 employees when it shut down less than a year after launching. So if someone's going to sympathize with two people that can't get their together, it's going to be this guy. After reports that Dan's staff at the Messenger were complaining about his lack of communication, claiming he'd all but disappeared in the middle of the startup's financial crisis, Dan resigned and went to work with Us Weekly, where he clearly still had Meghan in his Rolodex under D for Duchess. Or is it P for propaganda? You thought I was going to say princess? No. It was Meghan's BFF and Suits co-star Abigail Spencer who told Netflix of the People exclusive, "I called one of my closest friends, who just so happened at the time to be the editor of People magazine. I said, we have to turn this narrative around. It will just be her closest friends coming together to talk about the person who she really is in the middle of this storm." Wait, did Meghan Markle's best friend Abigail Spencer just admit that she is close friends with Dan Wakeford? Funny how that disclaimer didn't make the fine print in Us Weekly. Bestie runs the magazine, all credibility out the window. Plus, being destroyed in the Hollywood Reporter and trying to redeem yourself in Us Weekly is like the Wall Street Journal calling you out and thinking the National Enquirer will set the record straight. Number one, if I were Meghan Markle, I would have just ignored this story. In a few days, no one would care. It would have expired like the birth control in Brittany Mahomes' medicine cabinet, always incubating. Number two, if you're going to come out swinging, Queen Litigator, why not threaten to sue? Why didn't you sue Tom Bauer? Why didn't you sue Valentine Lowe? Why didn't you sue Tom Quinn? Jason Knopf accused you of bullying and he didn't get sued. He got a medal. Number three, if an entity as prestigious as the Hollywood Reporter tries to hold you accountable or humble you, and you are just going to explode out of your polo stilettos unless you can clap back, logistically, you approach a publication that is considered equal or higher in credibility to shut down the Hollywood Reporter. Why did Harry and Meghan not approach Variety? Because Variety might ask some tough questions. Variety might fact check. Variety might not play ball. Why did Team Sussex not approach the Los Angeles Times? Journalism? Ooh. We know Meghan Markle has the New York Times contact information because they broke the news last month that she's a dolphin. Remember Harry and Meghan's 2020 pledge to engage with grassroots media organizations and young up-and-coming journalists? Dan Wakeford, editor-in-chief of People, entertainment director of Entertainment Weekly, head editor of In Touch Weekly, editor-in-chief of Us Weekly. Seems pretty solid to me. But Dan, from People magazine, now Us Weekly, BFFs of Abigail Spencer, allegedly, has already proven his loyalty to Meghan Markle. In fact, from here on out, we'll call him Domid Wobi. Of the People magazine saga, Abigail also told Netflix, "I don't know what to do. That's the thing. They are in this complex organism that I don't know anything about or how to help or what to do. And I'm not allowed to say anything. I was not allowed to say anything. Anything that anybody was printing wasn't coming from anybody that knew her. There's all this untruth. There are all these lies, and it just seems to be getting worse." Harry and Meghan blamed the nasty British press. They blamed the nasty royal family. Their solution was to flee. And how is Meghan's life any different today, 5 years later? Friends are still not allowed to say anything. They want you to think that anything that anybody is printing isn't coming from anybody that knows Meghan. Quote, "There's all this untruth, there's all these lies, and it just seems to be getting worse." Well, it sure as hell didn't get any better. And to reiterate what the Hollywood Reporter's editor-in-chief, Mayor Rashawn, said, what is new is this notion that coming to America, that a lot of those rumors were manufactured by the palace. And the reporting that we did suggests that that probably isn't true. I will acknowledge that Meghan Markle's attorney says that Meghan did not authorize the People magazine story, but when Meghan sued the Mail and the Mail was trying to argue that Meghan's friends had already spoken about Meghan's letter to Thomas to People, potentially outing the anonymous crew, Meghan refused to let her friends' identities be revealed. If my hands are clean, who cares? And you know why Us Weekly is willing to pander to a couple that The Hollywood Reporter crowned as one of 2023's biggest losers? Because they will never have this type of access to the Prince and Princess of Wales. Us Weekly is beneath them. So why not risk it for the American Riviera Orchard biscuit? They've got absolutely nothing to lose. And if you ask me, another Meghan puff piece from Dan Wakeford. Now that's the definition of absolutely relentless. Do you believe Us Weekly's report is journalism or more propaganda from Team Sussex? I want you to let me know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, comment with the crown emoji or the word queen so I can see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.